What is going on, everybody? Welcome back into the Bears Den. I'm your host, Alex. The 2025-2026 Bears season is officially over, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about the playoff loss to the Rams that just occurred and talk about the season kind of as a whole. I don't even really need this headset on, to be honest. Just here chatting with you guys, and you guys might be wondering why now are you making a video? You've been absent for a lot of the season, and truth is, I'm a bit of a superstitious fan. I was making videos the first couple weeks. The Bears were 0-2. I stopped making videos and they started winning games. And I figured I'd just let the season go. I'd enjoy the season as a fan and see what happens from there. And if you had told me back in August that in year one of Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams, the Chicago Bears are going to go to the divisional round and fall in overtime by 3 points to the perennial Super Bowl contender Los Angeles Rams, who have the MVP of the league in Matt Stafford and a top 2 coach in the league in Sean McVay, I would have taken that in a heartbeat. I'm frustrated. I'm hurt. We're an hour off the loss. It hurts because this game was there for the taking. The Bears had this game. The Rams seemed to have no interest in winning this game. Their offense couldn't do anything. Devontae Adams wasn't involved. Puka Nacua was pretty much a non-threat for the entire game. And the Bears couldn't get it done. And in the biggest moment of the Bears season, Ben Johnson had his worst game. And so it's frustrating as a fan. I'm trying to keep my emotions in check and realize that this is year one. Ben Johnson is a rookie, right? He's a rookie head coach. But I didn't think Ben had his best game tonight. Overly aggressive. I think that I was saying this during the game. It's easy to sit back now and Monday morning quarterback it, now that we know the result. But in a game like this, with the weather like this, you take the points, you take the field goal. Now, there should have been a touchdown on the first drive. Rome Odunze did not catch the ball, so that was really frustrating. And then Ben Johnson goes for it, and they don't get it. Caleb ends up throwing a pick, gets hit in the head. There should have been roughing the passer on that first pick, but there wasn't. But that's 3 points left off the board. Then there was another chance where they left 3 points off the board. You lost by 3 points. And of course, if you kick a field goal on that opening drive, obviously the entire game is going to play out differently. So you don't know what the result is. But we saw this 2 years ago with the Detroit Lions in the NFC Championship game against the 49ers. Dan Campbell has this huge lead, and he's just unnecessarily aggressive for no reason and cost his team a trip to the Super Bowl. And it just felt very similar tonight. Like when the wind is blowing and it's snowing hard and it's cold and cold and cold, and you need every point that you can get. The ball is a rock, the field is concrete. It's hard for guys to move and do their jobs. And it was an incredible season, but it hurts because it was right there. The Bears should be moving to the NFC Championship round, but they're not. Guys didn't do their job. DJ Moore not giving full effort on that play in overtime. And the thing that really frustrates me is they let Caleb Williams down. People are going to come on here and say, oh, he had 3 interceptions. The one, he got full contact to the head. There was no penalty. The one in overtime, he's throwing it and trusting his receiver, and his receiver's jogging. That's not on him, So maybe you can mark him down for 1 pick. Fine. He still made one of the greatest throws I've ever seen, and I was saying that last week after the Green Bay game. He made one of the greatest throws in NFL playoff history last week against Green Bay, and then he topped that tonight to force overtime. And so it hurts me because he gave everything to his teammates, to the city, to us as fans, to his coaching staff, and his team let him down. And that really, really hurts as a fan. And these opportunities, you never know what can happen next season. This was a golden opportunity to go to the NFC Championship and potentially go to the Super Bowl. And you don't know what will happen next year, right? A lot of people didn't think the Bears would make the playoffs this year, and they did. New teams are going to pop up. Obviously, this division's really tough. Maybe next year the ball doesn't bounce our way in a couple of these games, right? Maybe we don't get that blocked field goal at the end of one of our games next year. Maybe Colston Loveland doesn't break tackles and wins us the game like he did against Cincinnati. Maybe the quarterback we're playing against doesn't drop the ball randomly on a fourth down like Jaden Daniels did, And maybe the ball will bounce our way. You never know. But injuries happen, things change. Every season is unique. I'm sure you can build a certain amount, but this hurts because it feels to me like a blown opportunity. I mean, the receivers, there was like 7 drops tonight. Colson Loveland, I think, had 2. Left the game with a concussion, which was unfortunate. If we could have had him on that final drive, it would have been huge. Rome, I think, had 2 drops. The Rams players made the plays that were needed, and the Bears players didn't. And you can look at it and say, the Bears are a young team. It makes sense. This was their first time in that divisional round. Sure. Of course. But you never know when this opportunity could be your last. And so it just feels like it's hard. It's a tough loss to swallow. They had it. But it was an incredible season. Obviously 11-6, a ton of just incredible wins, incredible moments. And when we look back and we go back to August, this season was truly about finding out, is Caleb the guy? And developing him as a quarterback and as a leader and all that. And that was an overwhelming success. He's obviously our quarterback. I think he's a top 5 quarterback in the league already. Obviously, he's got to clean up some things. But the quarterback that just made one of the craziest throws I've ever seen, I trust to be able to clean up some of the accuracy issues in the offseason going into next year. He's the guy. I think he's top 5 in the league. And some of you may disagree, and that's fine. But he is an elite quarterback. And he's proven enough this season. So in that regard, this season was an absolute success. And I mean, this was the best Bears season since I was 10 years old. I turned 26 in a month and a half. I can't be that upset, right? They were this close to the NFC Championship game, so. And that was with a roster that is still filled with a bunch of losers from the Eberflus regime, right? You have to think that the defense is going to get kind of overhauled this offseason. Put some draft capital into the defense, free agency dollars, maybe move a player or two to bring in an elite player, right? Like if you could package, DJ Moore's a very reliable receiver. He's a tough receiver. And I don't want to make a statement or anything based off of, me being emotional after the game, but that effort on that final offensive play was completely unacceptable. And so if Ryan Poles decides that, we're going to move off of him, he could package DJ Moore and, whomever else to Vegas for Max Crosby, or maybe you can get Myles Garrett here or something. The Bears have options this year. It depends how aggressive they're going to want to be. But this team proved that they're very close. They were very close. I mean, they were 15 yards away from going to the NFC Championship game. And then who knows what could have happened there. They finished top 3 in their conference. Pretty cool. It was a great season. The most important thing is that Caleb is the guy. Caleb, in 1 year from now, will be getting that extension. We have our quarterback for the next 10 to 15 years. And we have our coach for the next 10 to 15 years. But Ben Johnson's going to have to be better. He's going to have to not be so aggressive because it almost cost us last week against Green Bay. And Caleb was able to bail him out with the 4th and 8 play and lead him back. And it was just too much. Terrible run calls. Leaving points on the board for no reason. And Caleb almost overcame that again. I mean, when you look at it this way, Caleb had to play against the Los Angeles Rams, the officials, his own receivers, and his head coach. And he lost by 3 points to the MVP and the second best coach in the league. It sucks. I'm sad. I wish the Bears won, but Caleb is that guy. I'm so fucking, I haven't sworn on here. I'm so fucking glad that he's our quarterback. I really am. Because he will lead us to the promised land. He will bring a ring to Chicago. I feel that in every ounce of my being. It was a great season. I'll remember this team and this season for the rest of my life. They didn't get it done, but crazy wins, crazy comebacks. I wish they did it all. I wish they won it all, but 31 of 32 teams will be frustrated, disappointed, sad, mad, upset with their result of this season. So, building blocks, it was a step in the right direction. And I once again can be glad and grateful to be a Chicago Bears fan. So, we'll have some videos here and there, with the off season and stuff and all that. But sad it's over. Sad it's over, but we have our quarterback. That was the most important thing this season. That was the question that had to be answered, and we have our answer. Iceman is our quarterback for the next decade plus. As always, I appreciate you guys. I know it's a sad day. It's a tough night. But I appreciate you guys. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button down below. It'll be cool to see what happens this offseason, how the team can improve and get ready to go into next year. So appreciate you guys as always. Bear down. And I'll see you in the next video. Peace.